Alright, so my name is Kate with Scholar in Marketing. Today we are going to be covering print marketing. So hopefully that is what you are here for. With that, we are going to take a look at lead generation within Command using some of their print marketing options that are available. So we're going to take a look at creating a flyer in Command, as well as taking a quick look at that listing presentation that they offer in Command. And how to edit and utilize those services. If you missed it, our video from today's class will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, generally within 24 hours of that class, but we do try to get those uploaded the same day if possible. Without further ado, though, let's go ahead and jump in. So the first thing that we want to do today is we want to go to Command. If you're not familiar with Command, the login or the website for that is agent.kw.com. That's how you can access Command. From there, you'll put in your username and password. I do like to mention your password is not case sensitive. So if you don't have capitals, it's not going to matter. However, that password is going to be case sensitive. Your capitals need to be there, special characters, etc. And sometimes when you're copy pasting, it will apply a space before or after the password. Those will also cause it to fail. So if you're not sure, take a look with that eyeball, make sure it's right, and then go ahead and sign in. Now, once we are signed in and our homepage loads, I do like to mention everyone's Command homepage can look slightly different. The features on this homepage are customizable to a certain extent. So you may have different pieces up here visible and so on and so forth. So it can look slightly different. The first thing that I want to take a look at for today's class, though, is going to be within the Designs applet. So if you're not sure what these applets are over here, you can hover over each of them. You can also hit this red and white KW to expand those and see what each of them is called. But again, we're going to start in Designs. And then from there, this is another page that can look different from every command that you look at. So these are designs that I've created in my design space, and they're here for me to access and edit them later on in the future. The first thing we want to do for our designs today for print marketing is we want to go into the import design option. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And while that's loading, now from here, again, you're going to see all of my designs that I've created within Command. That way I can easily access, edit those, and reuse them. You'll also notice that we have a start from blank, a choose template, import any PDF to be able to edit that. You also have remove image from a background, or remove image background. So that will remove that from whatever you're using. Up at the top, we have templates, images, my projects, which is what we're in, and we have assets. You can also search for projects, use ChatGPT, and more. And then over here, if you are on a team, you will also have a team workspace that you can toggle back and forth between. I do not. Before we jump into actually creating and editing our design today, I do want to take a look at these assets with you guys. So we're going to head over to that. Now from there, we're going to have two categories on the left-hand side. We're going to have Keller Williams Realty, and we're going to have My Assets. Now, the assets are important because these make it easy to create your designs quickly. These are going to be various different colors, fonts, images, etc. that are going to allow you to put together your design quickly because those pieces that you use frequently are already in Command for you to easily grab and pull into that design. So the first thing we have is KWRI colors and fonts. If we're to click on that, we see that we have KWRI's preferred color scheme. We also have their fonts that they have available for us to use. These will be available in all of the design pieces. You also have images. These are going to be a lot of the stock images you can utilize for any type of design that you might be creating. Whether it's a newsletter or a social media post, you can grab any of these and use them. There's also some different folders within there where you can get market expert statistics, holiday, if you're looking for some holiday photos to grab with, the holidays getting closer, all the big ones. If you're looking for house interiors, exteriors, they have some app images if you're trying to share your mobile app and get people on there. All of those are going to be available for you to use. We also have text. That's going to be their disclaimer. That does need to be on the majority of your marketing you're creating. So they've made it easy for it to pull into that design space. Logos. These are going to be the KWRI provided logos. So you'll see that they have KW University. Events, you'll find Red Day logos. If you're a luxury agent, here you'll find the NAR and the Equal Housing logos. Labs, these are going to be your generic Keller Williams logos. And then this one's always empty when I go into it. I'm not sure if they're adding something to that or not. But we'll also take a look when we're looking at My Assets, how to find your market center specific logos. Our next piece is going to be elements. So with that, there's some simple icons, symbols, whatever you want to call them, that you can pull into your design. So if you're creating something and you're adding emails, phone numbers, websites, they have little icons that you can put next to that to identify what that piece of information is. Videos, they don't have any in theirs, but they do have some files. They have their style guide and the design addendum. Now moving on to our assets, so My Assets, this is where you can really make sure that anything you're using often is included here. So if you've branded yourself or your team as an agent or a team of agents, and you have a set color palette that you want to use consistently on all of your designs, you can create that here and start using it for all of your designs. So as you can see, I create quite a few of them. To add a new palette, all you do is click Add, and then you can start grabbing your colors. If you have a piece of a graphic or design, a logo that you're pulling colors in, you can even use this dropper to identify those colors and easily grab that specific color. And you can add as many as you want here. You don't have to fill up the entire thing, but you certainly can. Kind of up to you there on how you've branded yourself. I'll just grab one of these. You can name that palette if you want to rename it. You can also delete it if you added one by accident. If you want to add your own fonts that you're using on your designs, you can certainly do that here. You can upload designs if you've downloaded one from another platform. You can also just search their different fonts that are available, and you can just simply turn them on to add them to your fonts. Next would be images. This is where you would want to include any images that you're using often. So for example, headshots, or again, if you've branded a logo, but you can also add that to logos, so up to you. I added in the QR codes for Scott's app and his website. Makes it really easy to throw those QR codes onto a design that I'm creating so that they can be easily scanned. For example, if I'm doing an open house and I'm creating a flyer, I can certainly have a QR code on that flyer that will redirect them to my website and an open house sign-in sheet for that specific property. So when they funnel into my command, that information is captured. So great thing to have here, those QRs. If you need QR codes created, we can certainly do that. You can just email us at support@scottlorenmarketing.com. We'd be happy to help. You can also create folders if you have multiple agents that we work with or preferred vendors, things like that that you like to include. You can certainly add those here. You can also remove a background from your headshot. So once you've uploaded your photo, you can click those three dots. Use, view, you can download, rename, and you also have remove background. So if I go ahead and click that, you'll notice in the back, bottom left of my screen, it was kind of processing there. And then it has added a new headshot with no background. Now I also have copy, file information, duplicate, or delete. And I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Next is our text. So the text is a great place to add your app URL. That way you're not having to type it out every time you want to use it, or phone numbers, office license numbers, anything like that that you're putting on marketing on a regular basis. You may want to include here. You can add your bios, whatever you'd like to use here. Next one is logos. So this is where you would upload your market center specific logos. So with that being said, to find our logos, we're going to go to kwconnect.com. And from there, we should be logged in if we're logged into Command, but from there we'll go to Resources, Marketing, and then Logos and Branding. And the question about replacing the background, I don't believe it gives you an option in here to replace the background. But you can always add that to whatever, have the background as whatever photo you would like by adding that photo behind it, if that helps. And I'll kind of show you how to do that when we're going through some of these designs. Back to here though, we went to, again, resources, marketing, logos, and branding, and then we're brought to this page here. Now from here, if we scroll down, there'll be a little search bar that says search market center number or market center name. Now this is where we can search our office number. Just gonna put in a random number today. Let's try to pull one that has more than one. We'll just do 98. So as you can see, it pulls up any market center that has 98 in it. So if you are looking for a specific one, you'd want to put in that full number. But if your market center 98, it is going to pull up all of those. So you just want to make sure you find the one that you're looking for. You can preview that to make sure it's the correct logo. And once you verify that it is, you can go ahead and hit download. Now, once we download that file, it's going to give me an entire folder. And from there, we're going to open that up. You'll notice we have a few folders in here. I like to take a look at these top two, so the black and white and the CMYK. So we'll go ahead and open that up. It's already on extra large. You'll notice then that we have a few different logos in here. So different colors, format options, etc. So this one with the white background is going to actually have a white background behind it when you're using it. Whereas these are going to be like the background was removed and it's going to be a transparent background. So whatever you're putting it on, you'll see that instead. So different options here. If we go back, we can also check out this other one. Same thing, it's going to have various colors and formats. Now I do like to mention, not every KW Market Center has all of the available logos. So if you're finding that you don't have all of the color options, unfortunately, they don't all have every single one of them. I'm not sure if it's due to compliance or something like that, but you will find that some of them don't have all of the colors. Once we have our logos here though, we're going to go ahead and go back to our assets. And then I can go ahead and create a new folder. I'm going to name this one Marketplace since that was the office we downloaded. You're not finding your market center. If you want to drop, you don't know the market center number. If you don't, go ahead and drop your market center name and I can see if I can find that for you. Once I have my folder though, we'll go ahead and do upload. And I'm going to do from my device. We're going to grab these. I'm going to grab all of those different color options. I'm going to hit add more. And then we're going to go back and grab the color options. And now I have a total of 7 files selected. So I'm going to go ahead and upload those files. And now I have all the various color options and formats that are available that I can use within Command. So depending on the design that I'm making, I may need a white logo versus a red logo. depending on what I'm creating. So it's great to have those in there and easy to grab. Next is elements. So similar to KWRs, if you have specific logos, icons, whatever, symbols that you're using frequently, you'd want to add those here. If there are any videos, and if you have any files you're using on a regular basis, you can include those as well. Now, once we are done with our assets, I'm going to go ahead and go back to my command dashboard. We're going to go back to designs. And this time, instead of going to import, I'm going to go ahead and hit create. And for today's class, again, we are highlighting on print. So that is the one I'm going to select. If you're interested in any of the others, we do have classes that focus on those that you can take a look at or join. And I do like to point out that sometimes it will bring you into the same place we were, and that is totally okay. Other times, it will bring you into the templates section. So you can access this both of those two ways. Now, once we're in templates, you'll notice we have a ton of different categories over here on the left-hand side. So from listings, buyer, business basics, holiday, etc. They have all of the various different templates. Now from there, you can also expand those and view different templates. So we have some coming soon, just sold, open house. If you have a price update, you can find all of those within here. Now, once you select one, so if we go back to open house for a second, once we select a specific category, you'll also notice up here we have different size options for that graphic or for that piece of marketing that we're creating. So you have some social media size, door hangers if you're looking for that. You also have flyers if you're making a postcard that you'd like to mail out. So picking what you're looking for is going to help you narrow down your templates to make sure it's the accurate size for what you're trying to create. So we're going to go ahead and just take a look at flyers today, and we'll just create an open house graphic. So I'm just going to pick one on here. I did this one last time, so we'll go ahead and use this one. So once you pick the one that you like, you'll just go ahead and hover over it and hit use. And from there, you are brought into the WeBrand design space. So this is where we can start customizing our design the best way that we would like it to look. So we'll kind of go over these different options over here. So the first one is templates. It's going to take you back to those different options. So if you decide you didn't like this one, you can switch to one of the others. You can also go into images. Now from images, I like to point out we have stock photos. So different stock photos that you can find and utilize. You have workspace. Now workspace is going to be those KWRI provided assets that we were just previously looking at. So you may recognize some of these photos. So it has all of those folders as well as all of the images available for you to look through. You can even search through those if you'd like to. Sometimes it doesn't pull anything. And then you also have my assets. So any of my photos that I've uploaded into those assets. Now, same for text. We're going to have add new text if you're wanting to add something new to the flyer. You have banners, which are kind of like little, they look more like stickers, and you can add those and edit them. So you could start changing that. I'm gonna hit delete. And then you have the workspace, which is their disclaimer. And then of course, my assets. Same for logos. We have the KWRI and mine. And then we have elements, which are going to be similar to kind of like stickers. You can find any kind of image in there. Then the KWRI and mine. Now KWLS, this is a little different. This allows you to pull in listings from any MLS. Now you can search by listing address, the MLS number, which is going to be the fastest, easiest way to find what you're looking for. The KWLS ID, listing agent, and co-listing agent. There's also snapshots. This allows you to create a little snapshot. We'll take a look at that in the listing presentation. If you were using this for social media, you could add animation, but since we are printing this, animation will not work because it's a flat image. So we're going to kind of skip over that one. But let's go ahead and start editing our image here. So we will start with our logo up here. Now, if I click on that, usually it brings me to logos, but not always. From there, we can find our marketplace logo and we can switch that out. Now, again, the white logo wouldn't look very good here because I can't see it. So we may want to make sure that when we're doing that, we have one that is easy to read. Now, when I did that, I clicked on the logo and I used the little replace image. So it's a double arrow. It will allow you to swap the photo that's on the design with whatever you are clicked on. So I put that logo directly in that little box. Now that's not to say I can't make it a little bit bigger to fit that space. You can certainly do that if you want to. Next, we'll go ahead and click on our photo here. And from there, I'm going to go to the KWLS and we are going to go back to listing. And I don't have a listing, so I'm going to grab one that I grabbed this morning for class today. And I'm just going to search by the address. And once I search that, it's going to start pulling up listings. And I'm going to go ahead and hit select. And then I can start grabbing my photos for my flyer. So again, as long as I'm clicked on the photo that I'm replacing, I can use that replace by using the double arrow. Now, once my image is there, I can certainly still double click on that and readjust that. So if I want to zoom in based on the photo, I can certainly do that. I can move it around to make sure it's centered. Once I have it where I want it though, I'm going to go ahead and hit done. And then check it out, make sure it's where I want it. Let's see, there is a question in the chat for KWLS when putting the MLS number. Does it pull up the home's pictures or what? Okay, so hopefully this answered your question because this is what pulls. So you do get the photos, and we're going to replace these other photos really quick. So we'll just grab one here. We'll go ahead and replace this one. And then we'll come down and let's see, we'll just grab this one for now. It also is going to pull the listing details. So as you can see, it's going to pull all of that information from the listing. Now, one thing I like to point out is when I'm clicked on an item and I want to replace, because these also give me the option to replace. However, if I'm trying to replace bedrooms and baths and I use this for bedrooms, it's only going to put 4. So in some cases, it is easier to type on that flyer directly. So 4 bed, we have 4 bathrooms. And I'm just double clicking to get onto there. And then our square footage, 19. Oh, did I type that right? Okay. So in some cases, it is easier to click and type on that. Now listing price, we can grab that. We'll just do, oops, clicked me off of it. Current price, so we can swap that again. Now, as you can see, before it didn't have all of that information, so it's going to swap exactly what is showing over here. So I could either leave that or I can edit it. Now, the other way to edit text is to click on that piece and then come up here to the typewriter. Now that will open up a box to allow you to make edits there and then go ahead and hit save. So same thing, just a little bit different process, just depends what you prefer. Address, if we're going to go ahead and swap that. There it is. So again, may not pull exactly what you're wanting. So you can always just edit that. We can change our date. So let's say we're going to do Sunday, and this weekend is the 18th. So we'll do August. Oops. 18th. Oops. Cannot type when I'm teaching ever. We'll leave it 11 to 2. We can also switch out our description. Property description. So as you can see, when I do that, it kind of is too big. And we can, of course, adjust that box to see if we can get it all to fit. Or we could just edit the text that's there. If we don't want everything to show, we can certainly remove that. Just going to drag this down a little. And again, these are templates. However, you can customize them however you see fit for your business, as long as you are within your, as long as you're following your local compliance laws and rules and things. So if you have certain things that have to be on here, make sure they're on here. Next, we're going to go ahead and move on to our photo. And I just realized this one didn't stay. Let me just grab a different one real quick. There we go. And then we'll go to our photo. Now that is going to be under images. And we can go ahead and grab Scott. Now this is one of those things I said, if you want to put a specific background behind this, if you want a specific color or whatever, you can certainly create that within here. You would just put this on and then you could put a background behind it. Say if you want a certain color. Let's go to our palette. Put some pink behind Scott. We are going to send backward. Now that box is huge in comparison to Scott's photo, so we can shrink that down. We can also resize this if we want to make those fit. So you can certainly do that with any color or anything like that that you're looking to have behind that. Next thing we're going to do is edit our name. So here I'm going to double tap Scott Leroy. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and leave the phone number. Now, as you can see, that pushed it to 2 lines because it's wrapping it. I can always extend that box to make sure that they're still fitting on 1 space. Now I've updated most of the information that I want to, but if you have branded yourself as an agent and you want to include some of your branded colors or fonts or things like that, you can certainly do that. So if we want to change the font here, we can come up and change that. Let's do this one. That doesn't look very good. You can change it to whatever. You can even change the colors. So let's say we want to go with our pink palette. It's kind of hard to read with that little font, so we'll switch that one. I'm going to delete that. I want to show you one other thing with the headshot. So I'm going to delete Scott altogether. Now, when I'm clicked off of my design, you'll notice that my options up here are different than if I'm clicked on the design. So if we click off of that, we can grab a frame. I like to do the circle, but you could do any of these if you want to. So we can go ahead and grab whichever one you want and do heart. Not that that's what you want to put your photo in, but if you were creating a certain design, you may want to use that. We could then put this photo in the little heart. Now, obviously, again, for headshot, probably not the best frame to use. We can just grab the circle. It's usually my go-to. The frame just allows you to put a photo in there and it's going to put it in that perfect little space. So whichever one you're doing, you can of course still click on that and adjust the photo if you want to zoom in or whatever. You hit done. And you can change any of this text as well, size and everything. So we want to do that one to match. Any of this can be adjusted. So the other thing I do get asked sometimes about this over here, if you don't like that, you can certainly just delete it. It's kind of just a personal preference for that design. And then the logo's kind of throwing me off, so we're gonna switch that one out too. So not that you'd want to use pink, like I said, just use it because it's a great way to display how much you can edit and change on this with the colors, the fonts, and everything like that. If you have your own logo you want to include, you can certainly grab that and pull that in as well. Let's go back to logos. Let's say you branded yourself as a logo. I have this little silly one that I created just as an example. Of course, it has the background. We'll skip that. I can usually go in and edit or remove that, but we'll skip it. But I can add in Scott's logo. So if you have your own branded logo as well and you want to include that, we could put that on here. I can kind of move this around, add my own personal logo here. And then I'm just going to put this all on one line right underneath. And if they did space it out, it won't adjust unless you go do it. So again, just want to display that there's a ton of versatility with these designs. You can zoom out or in to allow yourself to edit that a little bit easier. Once you're done though, and your flyer is how you want it. One last thing, I'm just going to grab that QR. We're going to toss that on here. In fact, I should probably put that instead of the logo. Make this slightly smaller if I can. And then we've got our QR code there as well, so they can go ahead and scan that and sign in. Again, make sure QR is for the correct link. It does have to have a URL for us to create those, so you want to make sure whatever QR code you're using is what you want them redirected to there. Once I'm done though, I can go ahead and order prints directly through command if I want to. Or if I just want to go ahead and download that, I have the PDF or PDF for printing. Now the printing is just going to show you the bleed line so that you can take a closer look at that. I'm not too worried about that, so I'm going to just do the PDF standard. And you'll notice down here it's loading. And then I have my design. Now I don't have to order prints. I can certainly just print this at my office or a local company that I want to, whatever have you, but this allows you to take a closer look at it, make sure everything is good and you're ready to print. I don't see any questions, so since there aren't any, we will go ahead and keep moving along. To save this, I'm just going to hit done. Done is kind of a save option here. And then if I want to use this same design every week for whatever open house I have going on, I can easily come in here, change my listing information for that open house and reuse that design. I can also quickly just make a copy so that I have more than one. And it will put that copy right there. So I can then also just reuse that one. All right. Moving on to a listing presentation. We're going to do create again, print. And then from here, we're going to take a look at that listing presentation. So as you can see, when we go to listing presentation, there are a few options. I do also like to point out, you guys, they have buyer presentations as well. They're very similar to the listing presentation. They just have, I believe, quite a few less pages. But we're going to take a look at, again, the listing, and the other one's going to be pretty similar. I don't know the exact turnaround time on the printing, but as you go through, it should tell you that, so that you can make sure it's going to come when you need it. Once we're in listing presentation, though, you just pick the one that you like. I like to point out on here, if you hover over one of these long enough, they will start to change images. That lets you know that there are multiple pages. Also, if you can look up here where it has kind of a stack of papers and it says 9+, that will also identify that whatever template you're hovering over has more than one page. If you were to look at the open house one that we just did, it's not going to have that stack of papers. So great way to tell when something has more than one piece of paper that you'll be editing. Now we're just going to pick one today. I'm going to go ahead and hit use. Anne Marie, I had mentioned before, if you want to let me know which office you're with, I can try to take a look and see if I can find the Market Center number that you need for that. Okay, so we are now again back in the WeBrand editor. That is who we use for our design space. Now, one thing I like to point out in the listing presentation, the bottom right over here has how many pages this has. So you can go ahead and click on that and it will show you all of those pages. Now from there, you have the ability to click on each one and you can duplicate or delete. I do like to point out as well, a lot of pages you may need to delete or completely edit. For example, the second page here is instructions that tell you how to edit and use this listing presentation. So definitely not something you want to print out and take with you on your listing presentation. So you can certainly delete that, or you can you completely edit that to be something else, totally up to you. I'm going to go ahead and hit yes. Now, in my opinion, this is kind of the first page. So this is also just, in my opinion, just telling us what it is, and we don't really need it. It's not really necessary. So I'm going to delete that one as well. Now here is where we have a custom consultation exclusively prepared for, and you can enter your client's name. So I'm going to go ahead and enter some of this. We're just going to use Scott. And one thing I like to say here too is we're not going to edit every single page of this. But when you are creating one of these for your client, you do want to make sure you go through every page and make sure that anything that needs to be edited is edited. So we can, of course, use a photo here. I'm just going to swap it out with one of these for today. We're going to grab agent photo. We'll go ahead and swap Scott. We're going to go to text. I don't think I have Scott's info. We'll just put calculates. Oops. We can then, of course, swap out our other information. Again, if we were to go ahead and swap this, it would replace all of that with the one piece. So this is another one of those where it's easier to just go ahead and edit each item. And again, if you like the typewriter better, you can, of course, do that. We'll leave kiddiva.com, we'll leave phone number. Next, we want to edit this logo. My assets, we'll go to marketplace, swap that one. If we want to swap our office address, we can do that as well. I'm going to delete this. I'm not sure what that is. Go to our next page. This kind of just gives some information. So your property transaction timeline, it's kind of just bullet points as to what it's going over. So it'll be a page that you kind of decide if you want to use it or not. Next would be the property address, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, etc. Some information. The next one is got a little bit more information about the neighborhood. Now, this is that market snap that I was telling you guys about earlier that we were going to take a look at. So let's go ahead and click on this. And we're going to go back to the KWLS. Guys, I'll look for those market center logos. We'll have some time here at the end and we'll take a look and see if we can find those for you guys. So once we click on that and we click on KWLS, we can go to snapshots. Now this is where we can find a specific neighborhood based on zip code or neighborhood name. Now I'm going to use the zip code from my open house that I created. And once that loads, actually it's really thinking. There we go. So once it loads, it gives me a couple of options. And I do want to point out these are not customizable. There's no way to edit the information in there. So if you find one that you're not happy with the information that's provided, we would suggest creating that in a different design and pulling it in. Because unfortunately you can't edit this information here. Now from there, you would just edit the rest of this page. I did Savannah. So we'll just put that there. On one line. I'm going to just move it down a little so it looks a little better. You'll edit the rest of the information there. And then you can go on to your next sheet. Comparable properties, you can go ahead and edit that information and include those. Your needs come first. So again, some of these pages, if you want to delete them, that's totally up to you. The process, so it's going to go through the entire process. If any of those don't apply to you, you can remove them. Your custom marketing plan, finding your buyer, best in class promotional assets. So this just talks about some of our design that you guys can create within Command, postcards, things like that. Your media plan. So this goes over a specific media plan. You'd want to customize this to make sure it follows you and your business plan, and whatever services you offer. Strategic promotion, again, same thing. Make sure it matches whatever your business model is and whatever you follow in your business. That's going to be a lot of these open houses if you do or don't do them, even if you're not the one who's actually hosting them. It's all in the details. So yard signs, amplified listening, door knocking, mass mobile marketing, enhanced videography. Again, things that if you're not using, you'd want to take off of there. Real experience, real expertise, a little bit about yourself, years in business, things like that. One thing that is for some brand new agents that maybe don't have this information, in some situations, you can use your market center information. You should be able to meet with one of your leadership and kind of get some information to use. Same for this one. And again, kind of the same before, if you guys have a certain color scheme that you've built for yourself and you're wanting to use those, you can certainly do that on here as well. You can change any of those colors and all of that good stuff, fonts, everything. The next page, credentials and awards. Again, another one that you will most likely be using some of KW's. Whoops, I might have clicked on the button. You'll most likely be using KW's awards and things, unless you have your own. Leading the industry. Portfolio of excellence. So if you do have this, you can include it. If you don't, I am going to show you a way to leave the page so that when you do have that, you can still use it. But I'm going to show you how to remove it when you're printing, so that you can skip it. There's some more featured listings. These are going to be some testimonials. Again, a page that you can skip if you don't have them right now. Your promise. Selling safely. The bottom line. This one goes over your app. So this would be a great place to either include your app code or your QR code for your app if you wanted to. So this is Scott's app code. So we could just delete this. I'm going to leave that one. Move it up. I'm actually going to make that box a little bit shorter. It's a great way to have them download your app. And then, of course, you have your last page, which is just ending. You just want to update like your logo, your information, things like that. Of course, another place that if you wanted to add your photo, you certainly can to go alongside that information. And then you're all set. Now, once you're all set with this one, you can download, order. I'm also going to show you guys the share option. This is where I'm going to show you though how you can remove certain pages. So for example, if you didn't want to include some of those, but you don't want to delete them because you may want to add them later. So we'll remove this one. You can just uncheck the specific pages that you don't want to use, and then you can download and print without those. That will still allow you to keep them in here. So when you have that information, you can of course include it. And it's going to take a minute to download. I do also like to use the share button. Now, I don't know about you guys. I'm really bad about keeping paper. It doesn't matter what you hand me. I'm probably going to lose it, or my toddler is going to rip it up later today. So I like to also say that you can send this link if you want to send a follow-up email after your listing appointment and include this entire packet. You can grab this link. You'll want to make sure that this is set to anyone with the link. And then you can go ahead and copy that. And if they are sent that link, they can open that in they just click on it. It will open it in a browser. And then they have a digital version of the booklet. So once that loads, you'll see we have a digital way to look at that. So we can skip pages and view it that way. So great way to send this after the fact. Now this does not allow them to edit that. They would have to have command logins to edit that, but it's a great way to send it so they can view it later. And then once we're done, we did download that as well. So we can open that up, view it, print it, send it to the printer, whatever you do. If you make a booklet that looks really pretty, you can do that, of course. And then when we're all done, we go ahead and hit done. And again, same thing, I can make a copy, make a new one for a different property, all of that. So with that being said, that is our class today. I am going to save the last 9 minutes for any questions that anybody has. We'll take a look at those 2 offices that are having trouble finding logos. And if you don't have any questions, thank you so much for joining today. And I hope this helped and you'll come back for another class.